So my name is Linda. I am the mother of three children. One child overdosed and died April 20 of 24. I am also raising her children, and I am a professional counselor. So let's talk about PTSD, or post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder is a response to ongoing trauma. And there's a difference between complex PTSD and regular PTSD. The best definition I ever heard came from a doctor named Diane, and she says that regular PTSD and complex PTSD can be compared in this way. So, regular PTSD is like you coming over to my house for dinner and I'm going to serve lemon pepper chicken, but you don't like lemon pepper chicken. While I've got it on the grill, right before I serve it, I sprinkle lemon pepper on it and I give it to you. And because you don't like lemon pepper, you peel the skin off. And when you peel the skin off, the lemon pepper seasoning is gone. Complex PTSD is you still don't like lemon pepper chicken, but what I do is I marinate it for a couple days in lemon pepper sauce in my refrigerator. So when I put it on the grill, after it's already marinated, I can even sprinkle on the top if I want to. But when I serve you your chicken, you peel the skin back, but the meat tastes like lemon pepper because it's been marinated in lemon pepper. With complex PTSD, you're marinated in trauma. It runs deep in you. And with regular PTSD is maybe one or two events that have happened. It could be that I got into a terrible car wreck and I have PTSD and it goes and it passes. It could be that I had a car wreck and maybe something else happened to me as a child and that would still be PTSD. Complex means it's ongoing. So in my story, if you looked at it, I had more complex PTSD, even though, as far as I'm aware of, that's no longer in the diagnostic manual or the DSM. Only PTSD is. So, with any kind of PTSD is, I guess, it's a hyperaction of the autonomic system. It sees everything as a threat. It works a lot with a part of the brain called the thalamus, the hypothalamus, and the hippocampus, and the amygdala, and the adrenal gland. So it works on your senses, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel, what you touch, and what you hear. So if I have a predator in my life as a child, and he wears a flannel shirt, when I'm an adult, I can be sitting in a restaurant and see a flannel shirt, and all of a sudden, I feel anxious, I feel angry, I feel scared, I feel all of these feelings. I might even feel some panic, and my behavior goes to rapid speech. I might start crying, maybe I tremble a little bit, my heart beats fast, and I don't know what has happened to me. So somebody might say, "What's wrong with you?" And I won't know because it's the flannel shirt. Now, sometimes I do know. Well, the flannel shirt, my dad wore a flannel shirt, and you know what happened with my dad. Other times we don't know. And I'm going to give you another good example of that. When I was younger, probably in my 20s, I had this issue with cantaloupe. Yes, cantaloupe. I would go to eat dinner with my husband or be anywhere, and if there was cantaloupe in the vicinity, I seen it or smelled it or I tasted it, I got extremely anxious, upset, rapid speech, wanted it just to be the heck away from me. I didn't want to be around it. It's like it was a biting dog to me. I just didn't want to be around it. It was a over the edge reaction to cantaloupe. And PTSD is usually an overreaction. So if somebody comes up behind you and taps on your shoulder and you scream and jump out of your skin, that's an overreaction. So you're easily startled sometimes with PTSD. But my reaction to cantaloupe was over the top. It was it was unfounded, and when people would say, "What is it with cantaloupe?" I truly did not know, so I said, "I'm allergic to it." And for a long time that was the story I told, and I stuck to it. It was only later on when I started really diving into my thoughts, my feelings, and my memories and trying to piece my life together and change my belief system that I made this discovery. My stepfather's one of his favorite foods to eat was cantaloupe. Now, no way as a child could I have been ever stood up to that man because I was terrified of him. And no way would I have ever said anything to him. So what I did is I took those feelings I had for him and I placed them in the cantaloupe. And that might sound a little weird. So when I saw cantaloupe, it was a reaction to everything going on with my stepfather. It was the sense of powerlessness, it was fear, it was threat, it was all those negative things associated with having him in my life because he terrified me. He was very scary. He was very loud. He was very unpredictable. He broke things. He hit people, and sometimes he was intoxicated. And other times too, we were just not safe. We couldn't be safe in his presence. People would come into the home, predators would come in the home. We were outside sleeping in the woods, and it was scary, scary with him for me as a little girl. So I had no way of vocalizing all of that fear, all of those worries. So I put it into cantaloupe. And when I got to understand what was really going on, then I could do this thing where I kind of desynthesized myself to it. When me and my husband would go to Denny's, I was aware that there would probably be cantaloupe on somebody's plate, and no matter where I sat in the restaurant, I could smell it. And so I would tell him, okay, well, we're going to go in here. I'm going to smell cantaloupe, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to breathe. Um, I'm going to remind myself that cantaloupe is not a threat to me. Cantaloupe can't hurt me, and just because there's cantaloupe doesn't mean he's around. And I did a lot of self-talk, talking to myself. My husband was real reassuring to me. I sat closer to him so I could feel safe. And slowly it got to be to the point where um, it was more than smelling. You could sit next to me and eat cantaloupe. Now, by all means and purposes, probably could break it if I want to. I don't eat cantaloupe. Nobody in my house brings cantaloupe in the house, and that's just out of, I guess, respect for me. But that was one of the things that I did, and PTSD has odd ways of manifesting itself and odd ways of surfacing, and it's just like a kid. When the kids are really little, they don't have quite the words or the ability to articulate what is going on. So their symptoms don't come out as symptoms of fear or I'm grieving or I'm hurting. They come out in other ways. They act out, they act in, but they do different things to try to communicate to you something is wrong. I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable. I don't know how to handle this. And it could be as simple as like I have a tough teacher at school, and what the kid is going to do is they're going to have some change in behavior that's illustrating to you that something's going on. And it doesn't necessarily mean that something huge is going on. It could mean something small, like they don't like their teacher, they don't like their bus driver. And but so with your kids, you pay attention to the little changes of behavior. And I have learned to recognize that in my daughter's children. I didn't always recognize it in my own.